Good morning. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. I'm Barry Bryson, and we're in the middle of our study of the four women who are mentioned in Matthew's genealogy of Jesus. We're going to start talking about Rahab today. And Rahab of the four women is the one who is clearly referred to but is not named. Matthew chapter 1, verse 6. And to Jesse was born David the king, and to David was born Solomon by her who had been the wife of Uriah. Actually, it is in the text, in the Greek text, it says just this. And to David was born Solomon by her who belonged to Uriah, who was Uriah's wife, her of Uriah. In other words, by the woman who was married to Uriah. And her name isn't given. I think there's a reason for that. We'll talk about it more next time. Right now, we want to tell her story. Um, she is, if she were a figure in American history, we would think of her of one of the founding mothers of the nation. We would. Her father, Eliam, was one of David's mighty men, and her husband, Uriah the Hittite, also one of David's mighty men. There are lists of David's mighty men given twice, one in 2 Samuel chapter 23, one in 1 Chronicles chapter 11. And both her father and her husband are listed. She would be to us Abigail Adams, you know. Her grandfather was important, her father was important, her husband was president, her son was president. I mean, uh, you know, she's that person, she's that well connected in their history. Um, this is just a gut punch, the story is. David is just a hero. He's a young man of great humility. We know this in the early chapters. He's a man who has not tried to usurp Saul's throne. He's just tried to stay alive until after Saul died. Um, um, and then he becomes king, and then this happens. And he sees a woman bathing on her roof. In the first place, everybody bathed on their roofs. Um, um, there would have been screens up. I mean, people had one room houses, and the roof was a second room where you could store things and where you could have private space and um, so it was. But the palace is on the top of a hill, and he sees the unexpected image of this woman, and he takes her. And that's the way it's described. 2 Samuel 11. It happened in the spring, at the time when kings go out to war, that David sent Joab and his servants with him and all Israel, and they destroyed the sons of Ammon, and they besieged Rabbah. But David stayed behind in Jerusalem. Should he have done that? 2020 hindsight says no, he should have gone with the army. Now, when evening came, David arose from his bed. He'd already gone to sleep, walked around on the roof of the king's house, and from the roof he saw a woman bathing. And the woman was very beautiful in appearance. David sent and inquired about the woman, and one said, "Is this not Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam and the wife of Uriah the Hittite? She's off limits to you. She's married. Her husband's one of your special people, and her father is too." David sent messengers and took her. She came to him, and he lay with her. And when she had purified herself from her uncleanness, she went back to her house. And the woman became pregnant, and she told David, saying, "I am pregnant." Everything about this is so starkly communicated, and it is. He didn't hold a knife to her throat, but this isn't a date, and she doesn't have agency in this. And I mean, he knows his connection to her, and he takes her anyway. We're not prepared for him to do this. It communicates to all of us, particularly as men, the power of the unexpected image that could come our way in a variety of places. And now we have to have self-control of ourselves, to have control of ourselves. Um, if this could happen to David, it could happen to any of us. We are all of us capable of great evil under the right circumstances. And these are David's circumstances. That whole, when she had purified herself from her uncleanness, when she washed what had happened to her off, she went back home and carried this event with her. Would she have told Uriah when he came back? I don't know the answer to that. I don't think so. I don't. I think she would have had to carry this burden um, by herself. Of course, that didn't happen. What happened was that she became pregnant. She told David that she's pregnant. What could David have done? He could have repented. Repented to Uriah, repented to Eliam. These are brothers in arms. David's mighty men are men that were with him in the cave at Adullam. They were with him, the 600 men that were with him on the run from Saul all those years. They were his most loyal, his most trusted, his best trained, his best. They were unquestioned in their loyalty to David. Uriah is a Hittite, but he's in the fold. He's someone who is part of the nation now. And he came to David a long time ago, knowing that he was truly God's man, God's king. He betrayed them both. He took the daughter of a brother in arms and the wife of a brother in arms and slept with her, took her and slept with her and then sent her home. And when he finds out she's pregnant, he arranges for Uriah to be killed on the field of battle and covers it up. And it's only when Nathan the prophet comes and exposes him that David repents. And then the child that she's going to have dies. And it's because of the sin of David that the child dies. God makes this clear. But David has repented before God, and God forgives him. And eventually, David and Bathsheba have a relationship. It's just this one little line in verse 24 of 2 Samuel chapter 12. After everything has happened, it says, David comforted his wife, Bathsheba. After the days of mourning, he took her into the palace and made sure that she was officially a wife. He did that. David comforted his wife, Bathsheba, and then he went into her and lay with her, and she gave birth to a son, and he named him Solomon. Now Yahweh loved him and sent word through Nathan the prophet, and he named him Jedediah for the Lord's sake, which means loved of God, what Jedediah means. Amadeus, loved of God. That was Latin, by the way. Um, um, how long did it take, and what did David do to establish some sort of a relationship with this woman whom he has taken? I haven't used the word rape. Um, I don't know that it's the appropriate word for his day, but he had agency and she did not. And so we would clearly think of it as rape today. He murdered her husband. Because of him, her child died. And somehow, um, he established a relationship with her and they had another child. And this is going to be the child through whom the Messiah himself will be born. We'll talk more about this and why she's mentioned next time. I have taken a little more than 10 minutes of your time. Um, Thank you for joining me. We'll see you next time.